Welcome to the Haven Collective. I'm JR, and this is the Beacon Bit. Today we're talking about the temptation narrative in Luke chapter 4. I wondered if you have a special spot. Maybe that's like a room in your house or a particular maybe place in your neighborhood you like to walk to. Maybe it's a place you've been on vacation. Like for me, it's the beach. Anytime I'm at the beach, I relax, and it's a way I can connect that I'm never able to get that comfortable, when I'm somewhere else. I want you to think about wherever that spot might be as we're moving through today's meditation, because it's going to come back around at the end. This is the season of Lent, and during Lent this year, we are talking about Christian nationalism here at Haven Collective. As you know, that's been getting a lot of press for the last few years, particularly as a number of politicians on the right in this country have begun embracing the label of Christian nationalism, and that party is very much in power and doing a bunch right now. And so since we are a Christian church, we thought it was important to meditate on what Christian nationalism is and what our response to it should be. So I think it's important for us to start with a definition. When we're talking about Christian nationalism, what exactly are we talking about? Well, there's a lot of people that are discussing it and debating it and defining it, but most basically, Christian nationalism is a belief that the United States of America was founded as a Christian nation according to Christian principles, and that to be a true and good American, you have to be a Christian. And of course, that usually means a certain kind of Christian that interprets the Bible very conservatively and very narrowly, and then follows a very narrow and conservative set of ethical principles. I think it's important for us to understand why Christian nationalism is so popular right now as well. Christian nationalism offers things like security and stability and safety, and these are good ideals. We, of course, all want to feel safe. We all want to feel secure. We all want to feel successful. We all want to feel like we have the opportunity to flourish. In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you remember that from studying psychology, right? A lot of those things are sort of at the bottom of the pyramid. Those are things that we need in order to move towards a state of human flourishing. And Christian nationalism offers a path towards those things. It says, if you behave and believe in the right ways, then we promise that you will get these things. Now, if you were here last week for the live kickoff, you remember that I said that Christian nationalism is idolatry. It's a false promise. It's a false God that offers us certain things in exchange for allegiance and in exchange for worship. And what I'm going to say today is that this is exactly what Christian nationalism is doing. It's offering us these things: safety, stability, security, success, in exchange for our allegiance. That's what idols always do. Idols always demand a price from us, and we are seeing the price that Christian nationalism demands. It's demanding all kinds of things like, exclusion. We're meant to exclude the people who don't agree or believe in the same ways. It's demanding that we oppress, that we have prejudices, that we live out against certain other people. It's demanding, prejudice against anyone who would be part of the DEI umbrella, whether that's people who are differently abled from us, or black people, or women even, that all gets lumped in there. We've seen the way that the administration is moving against queer people, specifically transgender people. These are all the price that Christian nationalism is demanding in exchange for the security and stability and success that it's promising. Now, this week's reading focuses on Jesus's experience in the wilderness, where he's tempted by the devil. And we see a very similar sort of thing happening here. The devil offers Jesus things like fulfillment, like literal fulfillment. Jesus is hungry because he's been fasting for 40 days, and the devil offers him food. The devil offers him stability and security. The devil offers him power. And again and again and again, Jesus rejects what the devil is offering him because he is choosing to trust in God's provision and protection. Now, again, Jesus is in the wilderness. He hasn't eaten for 40 days, and he's right at the beginning of a ministry that he knows is going to end in a cross. And so he doesn't have any assurances. All he has is trust. And that's actually on purpose. Jesus' journey begins in the wilderness because that's where God's people's journey began. We're going to talk a lot more about this next week, but their journey as a people began in the wilderness after God liberated them from Egypt. And so Jesus goes into the wilderness to begin his journey because the wilderness is that special spot. See, I told you it would come back, right? That special spot for God's people. It's this spot where they learned how to trust God, where they learned that they didn't need to exchange their allegiance for security and safety and provision and all these kinds of things. God would provide it for them if only they would trust. So the wilderness is that place where they learned how to be God's people, where they sort of fell in love, which is actually something one of the prophets actually says very explicitly. So Jesus does that too, and that's part of what our Lent fast is. When we fast during Lent, we are sort of metaphorically putting ourselves in the wilderness and learning that we don't have to give what is precious to us and about us over to an idol that is making false promises. Rather, we can trust that the same God who created us and called us will continue to provide for us and to protect us and to deliver us, so we are free to love. We are free to be open. We are free to stand with those who are being exploited and oppressed, knowing that God is the one who will ultimately provide for us and protect us and bring resurrection, if that is even the case. So the question that's in front of us is whether or not we are able to trust God over the promises of Christian nationalism. Can we believe that if we stand with the most vulnerable, that if we stand up for what is right and good and true, even if it costs us, that God will protect and provide for us? Can we be like Jesus in the wilderness? Can we be like God's people, learning that the wilderness is where we meet God in truth? I'm looking forward to this Lenten journey with you. I'm looking forward to the conversation we're going to have this week about what Christian nationalism looks like and what it looks like for us to resist it in our beacons. Until then, grace and peace be with all of you.